hate the middle. I hate the waiting. I hate the tension. I hate the unresolved feeling of it. Recently, I had been spending time in Isaiah 60 and 61, especially the verses about God being an everlasting light, the end of mourning, double honor, and things springing forth. Those verses really stayed with me, and they struck me deeply because I have been wrestling with the middle for what feels like forever. That place where God has spoken, but you are not fully seeing the finished picture yet. One of the verses that stayed with me was this: "For the Lord will be your everlasting light, and the days of your mourning shall be ended." Isaiah 60:20. And I think that is what makes the middle so hard. It is not always that God has said nothing. It is that He has said something, and yet you are still living in the space where it has not fully bloomed in front of you. And if I am honest, I hate the middle. I hate how long it can feel. And I think the middle is hard, and it's okay to say that. I can hear the silence. I can feel the silence. But I also do not want to misread it. On Saturday, as part of a prayer watch I'm involved in, the reading, teaching, and prayer points reflected on the Saturday of the resurrection. And that resonated with me so deeply because Saturday is such a picture of the middle. It is the day between the cross and the resurrection, the day between what looked devastating and what would become victory, the day between promise spoken and promise seen. And Saturday did not look like resurrection. It looked quiet. It looked unresolved. It looked like a day that could make you question everything. But it was not the end of the story. And I think that is what I keep coming back to. Sometimes the middle feels so long, so heavy, and so unclear that it tries to speak with more authority than God's promise. But just because the picture is incomplete does not mean God has changed his mind. Jesus had already said what would happen. The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and the third day rise again. Luke 24:7.
So for me, part of doing the middle is this: being honest about how hard it is, while refusing to let it have the final word. According to Psalms 37:37 TLB, I have a wonderful future with a happy ending. And I can already see that God is doing something in me there. I can see changes in how I react and handle challenges. I can see changes in how I handle successes, too. I am not responding the same way I used to. And that matters to me because it reminds me that even though I hate the middle, God is not wasting it. Maybe I am not looking at the full bloom yet, but I can already see some buds. I can already see Him changing how I carry things, how I respond under pressure, how I hold good things when they come, how I steady myself when things feel uncertain. And I can also see the shift in me more and more. God is my source, and everything else is something He may use. People matter deeply. Opportunities matter. Provision matters. Support matters. But they are not the source of my peace, identity, or security. God is. And I think that shift is changing me too. I am learning that God is my source, and the people He brings into my life can be part of how He supports, encourages, or provides. I am learning that He may use many things, but my trust has to begin with Him.
And maybe that is part of what Isaiah means when it says, "For as the earth brings forth its bud, as the garden causes the things that are sown in it to spring forth,
So the Lord God will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. Isaiah 61:11. So no, I do not love the middle. But I am learning not to call it meaningless. I am learning not to call it empty. And I am learning not to call it the end. Because if Saturday teaches us anything, it is that silence is not the same as defeat. And if Isaiah teaches us anything, it is that God knows how to bring forth restoration, honor, light, joy, and life. So maybe that is what I am learning in this season. I hate the middle, but I do not want to misread it. And maybe that is where some of you are too. Maybe you are in a place where God has spoken, but the picture is not complete. Maybe you are tired of waiting. Maybe you are tired of wrestling. Maybe you are tired of living in the in-between. But the middle is not proof that God has failed. And it is not proof that the story is over. Sometimes it is simply Saturday. And Saturday was never the end.